When the bros get together, she can get crazy.
Hey, what are you doing?
I don't want to give my whole life to this job and then be old alone.
Whoa.
Hello, my friend, Mahdi Cocci. How are you, man?
What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, dude. Just any chance to rap to you face to face virtually, I'll take it.
I love it. I've been watching your career, and you just kind of blew up, and you never called or wrote anything to me, but that's okay. I understand.
Hey, likewise, man. This guy is the first guy that I knew with any type of success, anything Hollywood related. I moved out to LA with a dream a long time ago, and through mutual friends, we met, and next thing I know, you're getting a movie made. I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? And like some names attached, and then another movie, and more bigger names attached, and it's like you're in it. And it was yeah, dude, you're the man, dog. So
Oh man, thank you so much, man. It's funny when you're wrapped up in your own journey, you don't realize what kind of effects you have on people. I've had other people tell me on this podcast this similar stories, and I never thought about how it was affecting anyone else. It's
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool to some sort of come full circle. But let's talk about you, Mr. Mahdi Cocci. I love the fucking name. I think it's awesome. Please
I gotta
please
open a
tell us.
restaurant or something, maybe.
Listen, please jump in. Tell us about yourself, your journey, and then we'll just get started on it.
I grew up in Minnesota, and from there is a simple path to success, generally speaking. I mean, you go to some school, do well, go to some more school, get a job, go to some more school, get a better job, like move up in the world. And that was, I was okay in school. I was better at standardized tests. My grades were okay, but I did pretty well in SATs, things like that. So it was like, okay, cool. College is the next logical choice. And I ended up, my mom didn't have a ton of money, so I ended up getting a scholarship for school, a Navy ROTC scholarship to go to college. Now at the time, I'd already started modeling, and at my senior year of high school, and I had an agency that wanted me to move to New York. And my mom was like, absolutely not. And it wasn't so much I didn't want to do that either. I was kind of like, school is so important. I'm from that era where like if you didn't go to college, like, what's wrong with you? So I went to school and had the scholarship and did a little modeling on the side, but I never fully kind of jumped in. And then once I graduated, I was commissioned as an officer in the Navy, and I was stationed in Rhode Island and then San Diego, and I was overseas deployed. And then when I got a chance to get out, I said, well, I had I guess you could say bitten by the acting bug, cliche, but I'd done a little acting classes in college, small time stuff. And then, had sort of still like a foot in the modeling. So then I was like, okay, I'll move to LA. San Diego's right up the road, move to LA and try to see what I can do. Got a modeling agent, didn't know what it took to start acting, but, kind of did that.
How many years were you? How many years were you in the Navy?
Total reserve and active duty, like 10 years, but I guess 4 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I did they
Good
say
for you, bro.
you got to do 20, but I went against that. And it's just in the rear view now. I have no retirement benefits. I'm just a straight civilian with some prior service under my belt.
Yeah. No, bro, listen, that's impressive. Just the fact that you stuck to it for that long. But please continue.
Appreciate you. Well, and then moved to LA, and again, didn't know anything about anything, was just trying to get some feet under me. Had a good buddy of mine that I grew up with, that's William, who lived in LA already, but not doing anything industry related at the time. He was like trying to do some like business stuff or finance or gyms or whatever he was trying to do at the time. And through him, obviously, that's how I met you, through, Adam, who you lived at the time. And then it was like, what was interesting is as I was trying to like act, and this is something I never told you, I never told anybody this, but I'm gonna tell you now, exclusive. So I went to a class and it was one of the, there's in acting classes, they sell in everything, right? So some classes are like, we're going to teach you how to act. Some classes are going to teach you the business. Some classes will teach you how to audition. Like they teach you all kind of stuff, so they say. And so this class was talking about like, how the business and how to like do a resume and all this. And the instruction at the time was like, yo, just like, hey, anything is better than a blank resume. So it was kind of like, put something on there because nobody's going to check. It's like, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And, so I like made up the names of some random movies. And this is, maybe IMDb existed, but it was at an earlier stages, or maybe I was just too ignorant to know any better. But I was just like, okay, cool. So I put it. And one of the movies I put was One More Round. Like, hey, I know the guy who made it. So maybe if they really check, he'll vouch for me. I ain't gonna ask him because I feel awkward. But like, so on my resume with 0 credits, I put One More Round in there, not knowing anything about the fact that was like a union film and like, why are you non-union? Who cares, man? I just put it down because I'm thinking like I need names of movies that I know and act like I've been in them, So wasn't in that movie, by the way. But
that's awesome.
According to my resume back then, I was in it. So needless to say, didn't have a lot of success, didn't have any actually. Did some modeling, did some commercials, kind of was making a living, was up and down with that. Some years were good, some years weren't good. But ultimately I was terrified of acting. I didn't think I just didn't have my confidence up about me. As like scary, it was unknown, didn't know what it took. So I was kind of leaning into everything else that sort of kept me away from it. Modeling, sometimes the Navy, because I was in the reserves, which is like part-time military. So I was doing, Navy obligations and modeling stuff, and kind of like neglecting acting, going to acting and being not good, like the worst actor in the class and super insecure and all that kind of stuff. So I stopped going to class and avoided that with excuses of finances and can't afford this and blah, blah, blah. And then in 2012, I had opportunity to go overseas, and I was living actually in Dubai, and I was working out of Port of Jebel Ali, which is at the port in United Arab Emirates, right like about 30 minutes from Dubai. And that was through the Navy. I was working as a liaison officer. It was through the reserves. And it was kind of like a chance to just unplug from the business and, make some money, get some experience. Then when I came back in 2013.
What year was this? Oh, 2013.
So 2013, I went in 2012, stayed just under a year, came back 2013, and was like, all right, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, So out of debt, at least. I was in a ton of debt before that, but I made money over there and didn't spend a lot. So then I said, well, now I got no excuse to really not try this acting thing. So I kind of tried the kitchen sink approach. I had a couple of dollars, so I figured I could just keep going after it and taking different classes. I was taking like numerous classes at the same time, just, throwing money at it, throwing more money at it. And eventually through that experience, that attempt, I found a class that I really felt like connected with me. Like I was like, okay, cool. Like a lot of classes I felt, yeah, this is cool. I can keep going and keep rehearsing with the classmates outside of class, but nobody in this class is really even auditioning for real projects. And if they are, like, I don't know how they did that. I don't know. The classes didn't exactly feel like I was making a lot of progress. Some classes I do decent, I guess. The teacher feedback would be okay. And then some classes it was like terrible again. I'm like, I don't know how to be consistent. Then I happened upon a class called The Imagined Life that really helped me connect to if I work, I really believed if I work this way, I can improve, and that's mostly what we all want, right? Like what does it take to get better, And I felt like if I keep doing this, I got a long way to go. If I keep doing this, I will improve,